Here, get that.
Mr. Cutie Pie. Hi.
Marty, what are you doing?
Who do you love?
I don't need a bath, Marty.
Yes, you do. Who do you love?
Marty, I don't need a bath. What are you doing?
You don't love your daddy anymore.
No, he loves you. He loves the camera. Little ham.
Over here.
What are you doing, Marty? Hey.
Oh, he's so cute.
Marty.
Look at those big claws. Dig
wanna,
him in. Dig him in.
You want to get down now, Marty?
No, he doesn't. He kind of likes the vantage point.
He's purring like crazy.
See?
Okay, Marty, I have work to do. Look at he's digging
Oh,
his claws
he's so
in.
cute. Oh, you're just the cutest little grand kitty I've ever had.
Guys, this here is Marty. You've met Marty briefly before. Marty belongs to our son. But whenever our son has to go somewhere where he can't take care of Marty, Marty comes and stays with us just like a grandchild. Since we don't have any grandkids, Marty is our grandcat. And he's an affectionate little fella, and he keeps Freddie busy. So, Marty, I think it's time for you to get down now. I have a radio to work on.
Okay, jump down.
Come on, buddy.
It's too high for him.
Oh. Hey. Hey.
Get down.
Marty.
Get down.
Marty.
Get down. Get down.
Okay, down you go.
He doesn't talk anymore. Oh, hi, Piggy.
Oh. Hi, Fred. Hi, Freddie.
Oh, he's so cute. If you weren't so cute, I'd give you away.
You're so much trouble.
You got a black nose.
Say hi to the people on YouTube.
Hi, everybody.
It's my wife, Maridine.
Yes.
And there's Fred. Or that's Marty. Hell, I
No.
can't keep him straight.
You're like my mom. By the time you get to the name, you're mad.
Yeah, but she had like 18 kids. Okay, we'll close it down now. Okay, since this fits so loosely in this grommet, I don't really want that. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with just one layer. I'm going to put a little layer of shrink tubing on that bushing. I'll shrink it down. Okay, let me do that real quick. Alright, so there we go. Doesn't really look much different. That helped pretty well. I mean, it still will fall out, but there's really not much play. I could put one more piece on there. I might try that. And see if that'll do the trick. I think it probably will. See if it'll fit on there. Yeah, I think I can make that happen. Alright. Okay, let me heat that down. All right, now this should do it. Should fit fairly tightly in there now. Let's just take a look. Yep, it's actually pretty tight. That's exactly what I want. That'll work great. Okay, and then what you do is you take this guy right here, fit it down there on that screw. No big deal. Pretty easy stuff. Oops, I have it upside down. That means I put the bushing in upside down too, doggone it. Ow. Not a smart move. This offset here goes down toward the speaker plate. Okay? So you want to set this like that. That means this bushing here goes in like so. Okay, there we go. Set that there, and that gives the proper offset for the speaker. There's the witness mark for the metal bracket, so that's where it's going to go. So let me go ahead and put this nut and star washer on there loosely. I kind of tighten it down a little bit, but not terribly much just yet. And we'll go on to the next guy. You kind of have to coax them a little bit because they get stuck on there. And remember, protect that speaker, okay? I know somebody's going to holler at me for not putting cardboard on there, and they'd probably be right to do that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take this out of here. I don't really care now to preserve it. It doesn't matter, really. And so we'll just go ahead and tear it up a little bit to get it out. Okie dokie. Remember, flare toward the wood. A little bit of homemade lubricant on the grommet. Just kind of work it in the hole. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and put a couple pieces of shrink tubing on this guy. Let's let it cool for a second. Go ahead and loosen the next one while it's cooling. That one came off easily. Go ahead and get that off of there. Okay. There's the witness mark right there. Go ahead and drop this on. Kind of a weird way to mount a speaker, but it's what they did. I've seen pictures of other ones, and this is the way they did it. Now I'll have to hold the screw on the other side with a screwdriver, but for now this will work. Wifey came home, so now the cats have left me alone for a while. That's a good thing. I love those cats, but sometimes you just want to get some work done. Drop this guy on there. So I think this turns this way, because the witness marks has this bracket going that way. This screws into the cabinet. Okay, it doesn't screw into this piece of wood. It screws the wood to the cabinet and sandwiches it between the speaker and the cabinet. So what I'm going to do right now, I'll hold on to this speaker and plate here until I'm ready to install it in the cabinet. Really, Buster, do you have to? Somebody wrote in the comments the other day about cats in boxes, and they said if they fits, they sits. And you know what? I love that. And I'm not sure who wrote that comment. I remember it well, but I'm trying to remember who wrote it. But this is Buster. Now, the funny thing is that box is just teetering on my stool. But that didn't deter Buster. He's got to be in there because he wants to be in here to be the center of attention. So Buster, hey, Buster, you're the center of attention now, buddy. What are you going to say for yourself, Buster? See? Now that he's got my attention, he's going to ignore me. This is one of those goofy cats. He's got a little bit of Savannah, I think, in him. That's what they told us when we adopted him. You can never be sure. People say that. But one of the ways that does make him look similar is when Buster gets excited, the tops of his ears curl in. He's got those gigantic ears. And when he gets excited, they curl in. And he can get pretty excited at times. His nose is getting better. He had a really sore nose for some reason, and Wifey's been using a particular medication on him, which helps him to calm down, but it's also helping his nose. When I say calm down, he has twitches and even seizures at times, and we've helped him a lot with that. Now he's become more normal, but he's still a pain in the keister. Yeah. All right, Buster, you can go now. You see, I have boxes in here, and he's got to check them all out. Now he's bored with me. He's actually kind of tired of me making fun of him. So there he goes down the hall. Okay, I've got the cabinet sitting on the bench, and I've got this panel here, which I think has dried and cooled enough to go ahead and slip it in. So I'm going to drop it in a little at an angle until I get it down there some. It is a little flexible, but you just want to be careful with it, not to break it. There are some channels on the left and right side. that it kind of slots that it fits into, and that helps. There we go. Oops. There. Okay, now we have it. Next, I want to take this speaker board, and remember this hole here goes by this knob hole. Okay, so I want to go ahead and just drop that down in there. It's easy. This is a speaker screw. I've looked at my old pictures and video, and these brackets here, these brackets radiate in a counterclockwise direction like so. Okay, as if the speaker were spinning clockwise. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this in there. These are flathead screws, and so I'll just start turning this one in. I'm not going to tighten it all the way, of course. Go look at my pictures again. I'm not sure about something. Okay, I looked at the video, and first I'm going to want to mount this board, and I use these bigger screws to mount the board. So I'm going to get the speaker out of the way before I do something ugly to it. And this board mounts these two corners and these two here. Okay, so I believe that screw just goes right through there, and yep, I feel it biting already. See, that's the reason I like to have video around, man. All I had to do was go look at my video and there was no guesswork. These little screws here, I'm sure, hold this guy here to the front face. Okay, let's see if we can wrap this thing up today. I've got that panel that I assembled that I put the speaker cloth on, kind of put in the radio, and I'm going to go ahead and put this little cardboard backing for the dial onto the speaker cloth like so. And the way this works, this just provides some color to the thing. I'm all thumbs this morning. It's Sunday morning, and I'm just now beginning to hit my first Diet Coke. Alright, let me get underneath it and push that board up if I can. There we go. Alright, well, here's the dial glass, and I've cleaned the dial glass up nicely, and it should work out great. And the way it sits is right in here. Now you see, this piece here needs to come down a little bit, but then it doesn't fit quite in this slot here. So this is going to be a struggle. I'm not quite sure how we're going to make this work. I might have to trim up here, but I cut this thing exactly to the pattern of the old one. And I remember, I looked at some pictures and there was a gap on the old one, so I'll go ahead and cut that up a little bit. Use these micro cutters. They work just as well as anything. A subscriber who goes by the handle of Super Buzz Bomb made an excellent suggestion to me from on the last video in the comments that should have been obvious to me. And he suggested that I should have glued the speaker cloth to that speaker board first before cutting out that window. Now, all you smart guys out there probably caught that, and if I had been a little smarter, I would have caught it too. I'll know it for next time, but for now, I just have to deal with the mess I made for myself. A little tough to get in there with scissors, so. All right, now let's see. We can get this to work. It's going to be better. I'll have to trim a couple of strings off, but once I get it installed, I think I want to do that. Let's see what this looks like on here now. Yeah, I think that might work. Okay, now I cannot remember how this all went back together. I think this board is stapled into the radio. So let me flip it over and take a look, and that's what I'll have to do. I do see some screw holes. So I might have some screws to put in. Now let's get the glass. It's really cool glass, man. I really dig this radio. Yikes. I wouldn't break it. That'd be dumb, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be the first dumb thing I ever did. And this just sits down in here like that. Okay, now I'm going to have to center that guy. These little tabs on the back side are handy for that. There we go. I think that's looking pretty slick. Now all I really need to do is tighten this against the front of the radio. This back panel here just sandwiches this between the radio and itself. But before I do that, I think I want to put, let me see here. Let me try just tightening it first and see how that works. Turn it so I can see what I'm doing. Put some light back here. I'll start over here. I'm starting at near the bottom, right about here. There's a screw. Make sure I'm not hurting that. Yeah, it sandwiches it pretty good. Pretty well. I've got to watch my grammar, man. Why don't you guys correct me when I make a mistake? How else am I going to get better at it? Alright, we're going to tighten this one over here in this corner. And all I've got is I put a screw back there with a little plastic washer to kind of spread the force out a little bit. And so I don't make an impression in the masonite. Okay, so it still wants to wiggle a little, but I think we tighten up these last couple, we might be all right. I think what I'm going to do now, I've got to tighten enough so that what I can do is lay it on its face and work on it that way. Two more screws to tighten. I don't know if you can see those, but if you can't, just take my word for it. This lip here makes it hard to get the screwdriver in there straight. One more screw, and then we'll go around and do a quickie tightening round around each one of them. Okay, dial's on now finally, and I can go about putting the speaker on and then putting the chassis in this thing. So let me get this laying on its belly again, and we'll get putting that speaker in there. You guys see it okay? Let's see, let's put a piece of wood under this side, make it a little easier. A little better angle for you. There we go. Okay, I've got to find some screws for these, and that's not going to be fun to watch. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll get started with the cameras again. Okay, let's put the speaker in here now. Finally, we already had these brackets assembled onto it. They're kind of a strange. It's a very unusual way to mount a speaker. I've never seen it done this way before, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't been done. It just means I haven't seen it. Okay, let me put the first screw in kind of gently. Just to get her started. And what this does is it pulls the speaker back away from that speaker grill area just a little bit. It's kind of a cool design, but it's weird because you think that a speaker should be mounted rigidly so that none of the energy dissipation from the speaker happens through the speaker moving. But and these brackets, although you know it's rigid, I guess it's not as rigid as I imagine a speaker would want to be. I mean, I know people that have made speaker stands out of concrete that are really heavy, so that when they sit on their floor, those things don't vibrate. Those things don't really pass energy nearly as much as the speaker cone. But you know, I'm sure they knew a lot more about designing this thing than I did. Okay, there's a little glue down in the hole, and that should help make sure that stays put. Let's find one more, and then we're going to call this good. I really need to organize my screw assortment so that I can find stuff. I just need to tighten these bolts down, and the speaker is installed. Okay guys, we're going to call this one a wrap for today. The next step is going to be to put the chassis back into the cabinet, and that's going to take a little longer than we have left. So we'll close this one up with a little entertainment from my friend Marty. Ow! And so from your Western Outpost in Salt Lake City, this is Michael, and that's all for now. Where are you going? Oh! 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 Anybody have any idea what he's doing?